All right, looks like I'm on here. Hope everybody can hear me okay. Nice Saturday out there. Crisp. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I see we got a few here. We got G's Louise, Carol, Cat Lady. I don't know if too many more are going to come. Haven't been on here too long. Uh, I already enacted the screen so that non-subscribers are going to have a hard time making comments. It'll they'll have to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes before they can get in there and disrupt things. Hopefully, uh, some of the mods will get in place here. What I want to talk about, my last live, the live you probably remember that I had talked about how unsafe it is for John and Michelle and little Harley. And, another instance has happened since then. Remember I said that they can't walk down the street. They can't shop at a store. They can't get gas. They can't go to the city hall to meetings. Road King, I'm glad you're here. You're the only moderator on there for right now. Anyway, there's so many can'ts for John and Michelle and little Harley that it makes it very tough for a family in a small town like that to do anything. I mean, let's face it, the PO extends to the property across from them because it's owned by Jeremy, and Jeremy is the holder of the PO. And the state that holds that is the state of Ohio. And every time there is a violation that goes to Ohio, it has to be fought in the courts up there, even though it can be done via something like Skype or whatever they use for the courts so that the parties can be on there. And, I've told you before the scales of justice, people that are listening to some of these things out there, or charges or innuendos or trying to stop a family from having a normal life. It's hard to fight all those people. There's so many. And it's not really a fight. It's overwhelming steamrolling effects brought on by availability of financial or monetary monies that the main person in this whole thing, it kind of, makes the scales so upsetting. They just, and I'm not sure how you write them, how you get it balanced. But I want to give you an example of what happens when John goes up to maybe put a little gas in his car or get something from the local convenience store that is just a few minutes from his house. As it was, everybody knows that a person named Willis, who runs a little thing across the street from him called Tube Town, was up there at that convenience store, and he's had several videos of that place. And consequently, he's probably made friends with the store. It's free advertisement. And John goes up there, walks up to the counter on his way out. John had said something about Willis tried to trip him. And there was an exchange of words, obviously, and John walked on out the door to his truck, got in it, and left. Well, Willis had quit filming as John had went up to the counter, and then started filming when John went out the door. And I don't know if he got any of the exchange or not. I'm sure it was colorful. Anytime somebody tries to trip you, what's your first instinct? Turn around and clobber them, isn't it? It didn't happen this time, but apparently there was probably an exchange of words. And the other exchange was after he gets out there, and Willis is out there waving his arms and making all kinds of remarks, and and that part, Willis, he puts that on there. Of course, he set his camera up so he can get out in front of the camera and make these gestures. So you can see that he's out, and John has got his back to him at the time. And John does give him a parting remark as he gets into his truck and leaves. John handled it better than I would have. If I'd have been there, yeah, we'd have had it out right there. I got to commend John. He's in a tight spot and he knows it. But the problem, he's having to live a life of a prisoner in his own town, on his own lot. He's got movement, but when he uses it, there's roadblocks everywhere. The 500 feet extends anywhere other than his property. When he's on his property, he still has to stay 10 feet away from Jeremy and George, and as well as Michelle has to. And so a lot of the activities that would be normal for somebody that lives in a small town are curtailed completely. And, yesterday I said, hey, this could happen to anybody out there. You can have a PO put on you from an outsider that comes to town, but takes it back to another place, another resident, and gets a PO against you, and then has it transferred to Florida down there. Any snowbird could do that. Actually, anybody can do that. That's not fair, is it? I don't think it is. All right, now, what I did is I made a little list here. I just want to go over a few things with you so you know kind of where all this stuff is coming from. The PO against John and Michelle. It's very restrictive, and it seems to be one way. Most places I've been, and a lot of comments were usually it's a two-way thing, that the person that PO is for cannot violate these things either. Now, I don't know what the legalities are on this particular PO, and it'd be interesting to know just what are the legalities of it. I would love to see it. I'd love a lawyer come on here and explain that thing as to what it can or can't do, because you can't protect yourself unless you know the legal verbiage of the whole thing. That's my opinion on it. And everything I'm going to give you today is going to be my opinion. Now, you remember some time back, John was jailed for 40 plus days. And the complaint was dropped for lack of evidence. Now, did John get anything for that? No. He was not reimbursed for anything. He would have to take it to civil court and sue a guy who has nothing. This Wes that put this against him. Now, I'm going to give you a little background on Wes. Going back, about 10 years plus, whatever it was, he was convicted of selling drugs to children. He was convicted of selling drugs on school property. He was convicted of shooting it out with the police. He was shot during that exchange and ended up being fixed up and sent to a prison. He has multiple felonies on him. That's Wes. One of the things he did during the conversation was Jeremy needed a complaint. Now here he came to look at a little place across the road called Tubetown. You know where Tubetown is, right? There's two of them out there now. One's being built, one's already done. It's easy to tell where one is. There's been a tree down all summer ever since the last hurricane. And, of course, it's great to look at. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that belongs to Jeremy. He doesn't have junk on his property. It's all cleaned up, except for that big tree out there on the main road there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, at least you know what I'm telling you about. So this West character, everybody said, well, it's been a long time ago since he did any of that, and he's a good man now. Well, why is he good? Because he's doing something against John and Michelle because he's charging them because, as far as from my view, if John actually did have a weapon in his hand, it was to stand your ground because, quite frankly, Florida has a stand your ground. He was on his property. People were yelling at him from a car. Now, he has no idea who all's in the car. And there happened to be this guy had his daughter in there, and why he was stupid enough to go up to somebody's property and yell at him is beyond me. But he knew that property was there, and he knew it was adjacent to the tube town. And he used tube town as a reason to come there, even though they went across the road to John and Michelle's property and walked around. Not on the property itself, but on the outside of the fence. Now, these guys, I've already told you the background. It wasn't too long before that. There'd been a song up about the angel of death paying a visit to Harley. And you all know that was DJ Radis that put that song up, right? Does anybody disagree with me to this point? Or anybody think otherwise? All right, anyway, once Michelle learned about it, obviously she cried her eyes out because on a regular basis, people are threatening to take that child away from them. And when somebody writes a song about them, that brings it really close to home because now you have somebody out there trying to get a hold of everybody out there to listen to this song about this angel of death coming there, visiting. By the way, this same guy, within a week from right now, put up a video, and he was behind a column, a brick column, taking video of John and Michelle, claiming the reason he was there. I think he was stalking myself, but the reason he was there was because he was getting ready to eat something, and he was filming them for protection of himself because he's scared. I'm thinking, okay, now here's a guy that's scared of a 90-pound woman that's around 5 foot tall, coming out of a restaurant with a package in one hand. Okay, I don't know what kind of a man this is, but the last meeting he was bragging about somebody being scared of him and that he himself, DJ, was carrying. Now, he doesn't say exactly what it is, but he's carrying. He's got protection. And that the other guy was a coward because he didn't show up to the meeting to film the meeting. And yet a few meetings ago before that, he ran like a scalded dog because this guy started to walk up to him. He flashed a light in his eyes and then ran like a scalded dog back to his car and punched down almost to the floor and got that car out of there because he was scared of this same guy. Now, what is going on with this guy? Is it convenient to be scared? Now, if he has protection like he claimed he did, if he's such a brutal fighter like he claims he is, why would he be afraid of a 90-pound woman? Well, his reasoning was he thought that she had one of these weapons. Yeah. You could almost make somebody believe that, but I don't believe it at all. I don't believe it at all. And anybody with good sense won't. My opinion, again, I'm hard to fool sometimes, but when I am, I'm a big fool, but I don't think I am today. So here we are. We're building this case, and we're trying to take John out of the picture. So what happens while John's locked up in the hoosegow? Well, that was a convenient time for somebody, another person, to claim he's scared to go on their property. Yeah. This person was actually getting pretty much free rent in exchange for a right of, after a certain amount of time, deducted from a agreed upon price on that trailer that he had on their property, that the trailer was being bought on a monthly basis for his free rental there. And he was to pay part of the electricity as part of the utilities. But now he gets to thinking about it. Now he's got this contract, right? It's a verbal thing, I guess. And he knows he can't just go over there and grab that trailer without paying them for the rent he didn't pay. Because he Now he's decided he wants to do something else. Now, after he has a talk, and who's he have his talk with before all this comes about? That's right, Jeremy. Anyway, after this talk, and of course it's put on video and sent out to all the minions out there. Yeah, you guessed it. This thing got spun. This guy got scared. That's funny. How can so doggone many people be scared of this 90-pound woman? Now, John's in jail. He can't do nothing. They're out there discussing this. They all come on there and raid the property, by the way, to get this trailer. And they bring an officer, a deputy, sheriff's department. And they go off half-cocked. They're taking pictures. Now, these idiots, and that's what my opinion again, they're talking about Michelle locking the trailer up. Let me tell you something. This little girl knows how to open that door. The trailer is not locked on the inside, you dummies. Those people, they're talking about locking this little girl in the trailer. What? Where? This girl opens doors. She knows how to open and go outside. My goodness, what is wrong with them? The trailer is not a key lock on the inside. It's a flip lock. How many of you have an RV trailer? I've had trailers. I've had motorhomes. Every one of them had the little flip lock on it, right there where the doorknob is. And that's the deadbolt that's there. The next one down is just the handle. Open the handle, opens the door. Doesn't matter if it's locked on the outside or not. She was not locked in. The people taking the pictures were locked out. You see how easy it is to spin things? Makes sense, don't it? Oh, you're going to say this little girl can't reach the doorknob. Well, I beg your pardon. She can. She could and knows how. Now, if you don't believe me, you can ask Michelle. Oh, you don't want to believe her either? Well, tough shit. She's more believable than those people with all those damn videos out there that are spinning this. They spun that, locked her in. No, Michelle certainly did not lock her in. She locked the people out there out. They were following that little girl, trying to take a picture of her or video, and they wanted to get a shot inside that trailer. If you look at the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I don't know if you can find it on there now, but it was there. And they conveniently showed all this junk between the two trailers. When that other trailer left, there was hardly anything left out there between the two trailers. I wonder where all that went. Yeah, I wonder. They're not going to talk about that, are they? Now, the reason Michelle had tried to lock those people out, besides the pictures, she was by herself. You know why? This great citizen named Wes from another state out in Illinois somewhere filed a complaint with a lot of help. Do you remember when that video was put up? Who was there? Duana. George. And they tiptoed back and forth between all them sheriff deputy trucks. They got to talk to everybody. They had the people out of Wes's car. They were talking to them and oh, what a terrible person this is. And oh my goodness. There again. What the heck is wrong with standing your ground in the state of Florida when they tell you it is law? What's wrong with that? Nothing. Gee. All right. Okay, at least we know how things can be spun, right? This felon that likes to shoot at cops, that likes to sell drugs to children, that said that Jeremy needed a complaint. This is back home somewhere, and he even had a GoFundMe. He himself. And justified spending the money because he said everybody out there wanted him to spend it on a computer and a bicycle for his child. And he couldn't make it back for the court thing, but he could let John sit in jail. Well, while John's in jail, he can't take care of the property. He can't mow the grass. You got poor Michelle taking care of 1.6 acres over there, trying to take care of that, a small child, get things ready to go for a flea market operation when they were getting ready to go for that. getting things straightened out in their storage because that's where they keep their overrun from their house. Oh yeah, oh yeah, they made disparaging marks about anything in the property that was not in its proper place. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. Oh Lord help us. Well, anyway, there was a lot of accusations made, wasn't there? And they had pictures, they say, to back it up, but they didn't give you the whole story. No, they didn't. And I'm going to get to this story about Willis pretty soon because he didn't give you the whole story. No, no, we're going to get to it. You bet. I'm not going to let him off the hook. This guy that's such a nice guy, he's not from there, but he certainly has a lot of influence for some reason. Let's see. Yeah, a couple of times John's been accused about having this weapon on his ground and pulling it. Yet not once was there any of it shown as a straight on. And one of them that was shown for Wes actually is so blurred out, the pixels, that it doesn't even make sense. It may be a gun, but it was never pointed towards the camera, whoever had the camera on. And we're assuming it was Wes at that time, but it wasn't. That particular part came off from one that was done earlier when Jeremy went by there yelling at John, and John come out to investigate, see what's going on. And I've explained to you why they get so upset, because people keep attacking them. They're trying to come and they make threats about taking that daughter away from them. And they've made threats just about their life, just about on a weekly basis. Now, with all these people coming by, one of the main things they do is they take pictures. And they start complaining about the property, about the smell of the property and all kinds of things. But I can guarantee you they weren't smelling the property. What happened is they roll the window down. They get some fresh air as they're running down the road. They roll the window back up, and they again smell the smell that's already in their car. And the reason I figured that is because good old DJ Radis had made those comments about that. And the funny part of it is, as he rolls the window down to take pictures and talk about the property, and then he rolls it back up, right, and keeps on going. He's talking about how bad it smells. It was him. He was living in his car. How many bags of crap you think he had in the back? Opinion. I mean, if they're not in the back, where were they? Were they on somebody's property throwing out? Would you think they're behind the store up there, the convenience store, convenient place to park? I wonder. These are all just, I'm just asking. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people, these yo-yos that have all these videos going to talk about it. Let them. Let them. I'm just giving them some of their own shit back. These pics, I mean, you talk about, our First Amendment gives us this freedom of speech. And depending on how much money you have and influence, you can make a weapon out of it, or you can protect yourself with it. Now, the PO protected Jeremy and George because they had enough money to go to court. They had a lawyer there. There wasn't a whole lot of time for Michelle to protect herself up there. Some of the evidence that would have cleared them in it was not being able to present it because they didn't quite get it in there timely enough. See, if you don't cross the T's and dot the I's, then you're not allowed to have a say in court. Now, I know there has to be a limit somewhere. But in something as important as this, that hamstrings you, it's like getting a life sentence. A life sentence for a day or the rest of your life, man, it gets to you. You can't do anything. All right, so let's get to this Radis. This guy, now he's been on this thing for quite a while, feeding a lot of material back to Mr. Jeremy. And he admits to doing this, by the way, along with Vague Nation. There's another real winner, isn't it? Another channel up on there making money off this thing on the shirt tails. He likes to make videos. Do you know what he's been doing? Well, if you go there, and I don't recommend it because it might make you physically sick, to realize what kind of a person this guy is. He is posting on a regular basis a diary that insinuates that Michelle is writing these diaries, and he puts them up there in her own voice as if she's talking through her mental aspirations of as if you could read her mind. Okay. And you could tell right away that these it's not her talking. It's just this yo-yo putting that stuff up there, making a few bucks on somebody else's nickel. Okay. That's to me, that's attack. Now, it's called a parody, right? But there comes a time where a parody gets just a little over the top because people start thinking this is truth. Very little truth in this. Ooh-wee, there's a lot of them up there. This guy loves that shit. Now, this same guy, on one of his verbal videos out there, or talks, if you will, had admitted to he would like to trip children in a library. Yeah, he said that. Or drive down the middle of, telling another guy how to drive right down the middle of a road, right at people or other trucks. Truck driver, by the way. That's the kind of guy you got there. Now, I showed you a video last time I was up. There is somebody with his name. It said Tat, which means, that's a derivative of tattoo. And Greaves. The guy's from Australia. Now, is this Radis? Did he just copy that name from somebody? Is this a relative or is this him? But whoever it is a Satanist priest. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you look it up on the YouTube channel. The funny thing is, some of those pictures that are on there look like a lot of the pictures this guy has posted on his channel. Yeah. Is there a relationship there or what? But is this a guy you trust around your children? Well, it seems like the people that are on that town council and the mayor seem to like him because they kind of brought him in there he volunteered to be their DJ and throw that on there for their festival, and they all kind of patted him on the back. They seem to like him. Wow. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is a console that was flipped by Jeremy, wasn't it? My opinion, obviously. I mean, he put it on his own channel and approved each one except for one. Oh, yeah, there's one that he wasn't too sure about. Yeah. Well, he's got her attention, apparently. I don't want to go into that. Like I say, money talks and bullshit walks, doesn't it? Yeah. But then let's get to Willis. Here's a guy that wasn't too long ago. I thought the guy, his heart's in the right place and he's a good man. And I like the way he conducted himself. And I realized that he was doing a lot of work for Jeremy. He's over there. He's handyman. Well, I didn't realize that he was really his man. Everybody has to have a butler. Well, I mean, maybe I misspoke. You know what happens when you get older? You call people names by accident. I really didn't mean he was a butler or that he was a butt. I mean, that's open to interpretation. It is. Handyman. What's a handyman do? Well, everything. If you want your job, you want to get paid, you have to do whatever the boss says, right? When he put Tubetown out there, I thought, boy, what a great thing for that town. And I really believed it because I thought, oh, heck, kids can go there and have some fun. And then I realized it was completely private, and guess what? He just put a video up saying that same thing. That was private. But he's going to open one up. During that video, this is the funny part now. Now, he accuses John of doing all kinds of stuff, right? So on this video, he's out there telling you he's going to build a boxing ring, and invite John there. Or anybody else that wants to get on there. Oh, Lord, I wish. Oh, if there was a fairy godmother, if you could take me back to when I was 40. Oh, I'd love that. because I'd be there before he got the last post in the ground. And he said John wouldn't even have to put gloves on. Oh, I wish he'd invited me then. Oh yeah, yeah. We know it's bullshit, but it sounds good on video, doesn't it? He even painted one blue and one's red. Yep, it's there. And this one he claims to own the ground, and who knows? He may. I mean, I can't disprove that right now. Not too far away from Michelle and John. And oh yeah, there's a camera up there. Yep, he's got to protect it, right? Or is he trying to figure out what the citizens of that town are doing? Is this? Let me ask you a question out there. Are these cameras? Are they going up? I mean, who's next on the list? Is there somebody close to there that they're watching now? Is this thing spreading? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe we're going to have to go out there and take a look at the different street corners to see how many places have cameras on poles, utility poles. I don't even know if it's legal to do that, but I mean, if I was there, I'd be looking. I just wonder. You know, some of the cameras, they're remotely controlled, and they could zoom in and zoom out. I know I used to have them on job sites. I used to be able to look out there over a block and take the license number off the car with them. And I could do it from home, by the way. And that was 60 miles away. Yeah, those are pretty good. So if John and Michelle can't leave their house without being seen, I mean, because now we're covering from a couple of different places on this stuff. And this Willis, he goes to the convenience store there and films because he's buying things from there so he can put it on Whatnot, according to his videos. And of course, I'm just giving you my opinion on the goings on. I mean, I see what was on the video, right? I thought, yeah, what the heck? You know, that's what a good neighbor does. They promote each other, and people in town that are making things. Yeah, I got to thinking, is he buying something with being nice? I mean, he's not from there, right? Because if he's buying there, he's paying more than wholesale for it. So why would you pay more than wholesale for a product and then put it on Whatnot and sell it? I mean, is he getting an extraordinary amount of money from doing that? I mean, I haven't followed him on Whatnot, so I don't know. But what is the purpose of doing that? Because how many times can you mark something up? I mean, only so many times, right? Ooh. Yeah, it gets to be makes you wonder a little bit, doesn't it? Well, what if you want to make good friends with those people? And oh yeah, and John happens to walk in the store at the same time you're in there filming. And conveniently, you shut it off for a short period of time. And John and you get into it for a few minutes while this camera is off. Because John feels like you tried to trip him. Oh, yeah, you got your camera all set up outside so you can be seen and John can be seen. And you're out there waving your hands and yelling at him. And he gives a little remark back. But it's John's fault, not yours. John's fault. I mean, he put his foot out, right, to trip himself? All right. I know your minions will believe you. Yeah, that's good thinking. Yep. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to figure out how to do a long distance interview about that whole thing, because I got my own opinion and how it happened and what you did. And I'm already getting hate mail over all this crap. And you guys started it. You guys are putting this shit out there and you don't want anybody to talk about it. Well, I'm tired of sitting back not saying anything. You know, I'm telling it as I see it. What else we got on here? All right, just give you an idea, okay? Here's a few of the channels that are taking a beating over all this bullshit. How about Thomas Collins? Here's a guy, he got a cease and desist letter, and he's leaving Jeremy alone. He don't bother him. He don't talk about him. He's talked about on a regular basis by Jeremy, though, and he keeps bringing up the fact that he's going to sue him. And yet Thomas has took it pretty easy, pretty good. Now, who else attacked Thomas? Oh, yeah, Duana did. That's right. She called him a peeper because he films the streets that he cleaned up, the road that he cleaned up, the boat that he took out of there. Oh, yeah, and free advertisement for the campgrounds. Oh, and yes, that's right. And the fence that went up. Oh, he helped build that fence. Boy, he's really what you call him, huh? I mean, he's out there helping people. He's cleaning up the town, and wow, Duana, where did you get that? Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. He comes into the meetings and takes videos of the meetings. Well, who else does that? Oh, yeah, that's right. Willis does. Radis does. Jeremy does. Anybody else want to get on that team? I mean, what the heck? It's open, right? Let's get another channel on here. Who else? Who shall we talk about? How about two Lees in a pod? Gee whiz. There's somebody there that actually got up and brought documentation to this whole saga out there in Otter Creek. Wow. They're going to pick on Lisa and Tori. Oh, no, I just thought of something. They jumped on Robbie. Yeah. Robbie's got a cool head. He don't say anything unless he means it. And he means it when he says it. If I was some of you doggies out there, I wouldn't agitate him. You talk about a guy that wrestles alligators for a living. He's a tough bird. And no, I don't know if you'd want to mess with him. No. I would leave that guy alone if I was you. And Lisa and Tori. Oh, Tori the Terror. She's a wildcat that'll tear you apart. Don't bother her. And Lisa will get the goods on you. Lisa looks and investigates and brings proof to the channel. And you're going to pick on her, and she shows it to you long enough so you can read it. That's unheard of. I mean, if you're going to pull something up there, you got to cover half of it up so you can only see one line. You don't want to show the whole story show, do you? Oh, wait a minute. No. That's not Lisa that does that. Lisa shows you the whole goods. And she brings witnesses to the channel, doesn't she? Even on telephone. And even appearances. Yeah, but people publicly come on her channel. Well, why would they do that? Do you believe they believe in the cause? They're not bad people. They come on there. Wow. I mean, come on, give her a break. She's talking the talk. She does the walk. Me? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you something. They started picking on me way back when I was on Larry Foreman's channel. And right off the bat, the first time I was ever on there, I was getting blamed for stuff I didn't do. And Jeremy was worried because I'd make a comment about his personality. That was when I was looking at the whole story, and I was pretty much on Jeremy's side at that time. But because I wasn't 100% believer in him, I was a bad guy out there and couldn't be trusted. And it probably helped me make a decision of looking into his background. And yeah, I did go back to 2014. And since then, I went further back. And there is a channel that talks about somebody they call Jeremy. They call him, actually, Jeremy Hales is who they call him. But his nickname, they call him Jeremy. And they said he's litigious. Now, I don't know if it's him. I can only have opinion. But I didn't know there was another guy with his name that acted exactly like him, and they described him to a T. Now this is way before all this stuff up here. So if this is true, if this is really him, then he does have quite a background going back quite a ways. But I'm just going to forget all about that because his history, I mean, if you look at it, come on, it's nothing new what's going on today. There's just more of it. That's all. All right. Well, who else did he pick on? Well, Dave. He shut Dave down over a year ago because of a few things on his channel. And Dave was covering both sides back then, by the way. And all of you know Super Dave is pretty professional and he's good at his job, isn't he? He's really good at it. I like that young man. I may not ever agree with everything that young man may say, but I know his heart. It's in the right place. And I'll tell you what, I went on his channel and I enjoyed the conversation with him. And he does show both sides. Believe me, he will show everything that's there about it. And these people are foolish enough to attack him, which is going to make him dig in deeper. Now, this is a guy that got shut down by Jeremy, okay, over a year ago. And he come back and he's built his channel and slowly but surely is coming back around. He's professional and it will grow. He's going to be very well known one of these days. Lastly, how about Robbie's channel? Now, this guy has no business of any of his minions going over there, but they like to. And Jeremy likes to talk about this guy. Come on. How can everybody out there be on this list? Goodness sake. Now, this guy, he's out there trying to save wildlife. He's got a heart that's big enough to hold the whole world within it. It would. Because he's that kind of a guy. He'll give his shirt off his back. This guy loves what he does. He loves his family. You know, the funny thing is, his family's all around him, right there, on the job, with him. This other guy that's causing all this thing left his family back in 2014. Not because he wanted to, because he didn't have a choice. There's a lot of things he did back there when he left, and he had no choice in the matter. Like maybe a job he had. Like things he likes to brag about. Oh, man. I wonder where he used to wear that Superman suit, except at the campgrounds around all those kids. Well, he's a Superman, right? Yeah. I guess you'll buy a swamp just like he did if you believe all that crap, don't you? Oh, yeah, he did buy a swamp, didn't he? Now he's mad at the neighbors because they didn't disclose everything. Did he buy something without a warranty? A thing called abstract. Did he not get an abstract for that piece of ground? Because, you're talking about multiple errors. Errors, I'm talking about multiple people that own this thing. And he didn't get an abstract? Is this a guy that really knows how to buy property? Because, he's buying condominiums now. My opinion is all I'm expressing today, people. This person you think is so intelligent, so smart, and he doesn't do anything wrong, and yet he's admitting to the fact that he says, I didn't know about the property. I don't buy property without an abstract, and I don't do it without lawyers. Now, I bought a lot of houses over the years, believe me. And I've even had apartment units. Believe me, I've had those. The realtors in one of the towns I lived in, when they had a house come up that needs remodeled and wintertime's coming, whose door do you think they knocked on? That's right. They used to say, hey, I've got something for you, and the price is right. And the bank, I used to be able to make a telephone call. If I wanted something, I could get it. And then I could go in there and sign for it afterwards. But they would forward the money out if that needed to be. Not bad. That's not bad at all. It's good to have a reputation, a good reputation, before you can do things like that. I wonder if this guy can do any of that. Sounds like maybe he thinks he can, although I don't know how he can if he's broke. Because supposedly all this legal stuff is costing him a huge amount of money. Oh, you know what? Escaped my mind. It happens when you get older. Oh, you guys are giving money to him. You're paying for his mistakes. You're paying him to go out and sue people. Yeah, did you know that? Yeah, he's threatened Robbie with a lawsuit, two Lees, myself, Super Dave. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Thomas. He's a lot of people don't have the money, but doggone it, there again. Shows you where my mind was. I forgot. He doesn't sue to win. He sues to break them financially, morally. You know how to break somebody morally? Don't let them go to the grocery store. Don't let them go to the post office. Don't let them go to the convenience store. Don't let them go to the gas station. Don't let them walk to the courthouse without escort. Don't let them go to a restaurant. Don't let them do that. Don't let them leave their property without an escort. Yeah. Have I covered all the bases yet? Let me see. I may have forgot something, but I'm not sure. Remember last week, not last week, but the other day I said we needed to try to protect this family. And I've went over all this stuff. And I know I've made kind of light out of some of it. And I've give you my opinions. And I don't know if your opinions even come close to mine. But if they do, somehow that family needs to get protected. Now, they can't come to you and me and express what's going on, and we go express it as well if they do it on a personal basis. Because a third party is the same as if they were doing it according to the PO. So how can we do that? How can we make sure that they can go out there and walk down the street? A simple walk down the street. In a small town, walking down the street, when I grew up, and the town was a lot bigger than that one there, but when I grew up, the town was small enough, people came out in their front porch in the evenings in the spring and summer and fall. And they were on the front porch so they could say hi to people that were walking by. And people like to walk around. There was trees covering the streets, and yeah, it was a beautiful place. It was every bit as nice as Mayberry on TV. Every bit as nice as that. And the people were too. And we used to say hi and all that stuff, and we never worried. Your child could walk the streets without being abducted. You know why? Because the neighbors protected them. No matter where you went, the neighbors knew you. The business people knew you. And they would say hi and call you by name. That's how I grew up. In a little town, most people that have grew up in little towns, they've had that same privilege. They know what it's like to be able to walk in town. They know who the heck to stay away from. You know, you're always going to have some stinkers no matter where you live. And you just avoid them. That's it. And they avoid you too. But in Otter Creek, is it safe to go walk down the street? Well, it's not safe for Michelle and John, and certainly not safe for little Harley because of all the threats that come through for them. They can't even go on and try to set up a GoFundMe without being attacked. When Lisa set up a thing for to try to get a few Christmas presents for Harley, that account got attacked over and over and over. Pretenders buying something, getting it off from there, and then rejecting the offer to buy. And that offer, the thing to buy was not put back on there. Lisa had to go back there time after time to refix that thing. That's not an easy thing to do, and it takes a lot of time. And who had the balls to do stuff like that? I mean, why would you want to hurt this little girl? And then to top it off, she's taking a beating because people say, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. Prove what? These were gifts from the heart. The people are screaming at her. They didn't give her a nickel. They don't even have a right to talk. And then this whole thing, you take all the people out there, all these channels, and you bring some guy in, and he says, I'm going to buy myself in there. I'm going to give some people some nice stuff. How about a little $5 donation to each one of you so you can have a membership? Oh, goodness. And then he comes along, and all of a sudden he says, hey, I want to know what you did with that money. What'd you do with it? I want an accountant for it right now. Yeah. What brings this stuff on? Is it because somebody out there said, hey, somebody's trying to steal from you? I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I'll bet you there's been many times where I flipped somebody a $5 bill or sometimes even a 20. And they probably went and spent part of it, if not all of it, on alcohol or cigarettes or something. But not all of them would do that. Some of them probably went and got something to eat. And it was worth spending the money to make sure somebody that really needed a meal got that meal. You know, I've sat on different boards where, you know, money went out to different people. And we tried to keep it from being an obligation, but wanted to make sure it was a step up. And there's nothing wrong with that, a conservative idea of how to help people out. Show them the way. A lot of people were attacking John and Michelle because they didn't think they were worthy of some gifts. And when I look at them, and there's nothing wrong, wouldn't have a trouble at all. I would be friends with them because, quite frankly, they're down-to-earth people just like everybody else out there. And yeah, they may swear at you if you get down their throat because they're going to try to protect themselves. And right now, obviously, they can't. I'm sure they're pretty frustrated because of this doggone PO. But if you don't help somebody down this path or up the path, whatever you want to call it, how do you expect them to behave? I mean, do you really want to spit on somebody in the gutter, or would you rather give them a hand up and say, look, I'm sorry you fell in the gutter. What can I do for you? Is that a better way? Would you feel better about that, or would you feel better if you spit on them while they're down there and walk by? It may be that he tripped. Maybe he passed out. You know, a lot of people pass out on a sidewalk through no fault of their own. That's just something happened. And people will give them a wide berth and walk around them and not do anything. Not Lisa. Not Tori. They got their hand out there and said, how can I help? More than once. And they're still out there doing it. Yeah. It's somebody with a heart. So how would Jesus do it? Have you ever seen pictures of him depicted where he's putting a helping hand out to a beggar? Follow me. Follow me. Do you think he would like it if you come there and followed behind him with a big club and hit that person in the head? I don't think so. You know, these Christians out there that keep talking about that these people don't deserve this kind of stuff because they don't measure up. Well, if you're a Christian, it's your job to help somebody measure up. Tell them your story. Give them advice. I'm not talking about jumping down their throat. I'm talking about really, from your heart, give them advice. Show them a path. If you want them to walk a better path, show them that path. Protect them from the evil that's out there. You know that every time they turn around, they have to look over their shoulder, right? Do you know that? Remember on my last video, I said we need to figure out how we can protect them. And what happens? John goes up there. This guy's truck parked next to the gas pumps. He goes into that convenience store, to buy or pay a bill, and somebody tries to trip him on the way out. He gets to his car, and these people yell at him and call him out. The camera is off in between. It's convenient to turn the camera on to tell the story that you want. They say a video don't lie, but where's the whole video? If you want to make sure that it tells the truth, you stop them from editing. You know, this thing right here, it's not edited. It's live. I'm telling you the truth. I'm on here. It's easy to call me out on here. When you see an edited video, it's not worth what it was put out there for. It's just not. I'm sorry, but you cannot trust that type of video. Now, all these videos that I put up, none of them are edited. No, they're not. And I can prove it. I mean, you can look at, if you put the sound part on it, there's no skips, there's no lines, anything. It's just steady all the way through. I don't edit. It's just raw. And that's why it's not professional. It's just me. I'm not professional at this. I'm trying to get my point across, my opinion. And I would like for you to do the same thing. Use your opinion. You know, if I lived next to John and Michelle, and they were going to go get groceries, and I had the time if they called me up and said, "Hey, Ray, can you do me a favor? Can you ride with me because it's not safe anymore?" I'd ride with them. I'd get in there and we could have a good talk on the way there and back, and follow around the store so that if something happened, I could take a picture, video, whatever it was, so that they had backing besides themselves, because nobody wants to believe John and Michelle. Now, the other day when that happened, where Willis tried to trip him, it would have been nice if he could have called the sheriff's department up. But it would have been one word against the other. And it is still to that extent, one word against the other, except Willis put it on the video. Now, John and Michelle had to be very careful what they put on the video, because it is scrutinized word by word, by letter by letter. And it is all spun to put it against them, not for them. And I'm sure that they would be, no matter what they put up, it would get attacked. That's the way it is. It's the way it's been for a few years here now. They can't put a GoFund up there to try to help with the sanctuary because it's attacked so bad. You know, that a sanctuary, there's no way that you can pay for it out of your pocket unless you're a millionaire. You can't. You know, you have to find a way to make that sanctuary pay off. And they really thought they were going to be doing it justice. She believes in it so much that she thought she would be able to build this thing up and hand it over to her daughter someday. She would actually have something there, that she would love it so much. It would be the dream. It's Michelle's dream to build this thing. She's doing it, because of her heart. And I realize a lot of you say, well, that's not in her background, but it is. She's got a background. She's always had a good heart. The problem is people out there looking, somebody painted a picture and said, this is it. That's the picture. That's her. And they showed the same picture over and over and over. But that's not the whole history. It's not the whole story. If Paul Harvey was here, he's going, oh my goodness. They'll never hear the whole story. They'll never hear it. Not from that guy. Not from them people. Okay. Well, you know what? I didn't want to keep this too damn long. And I am going to cut this off at 1 o'clock. You've got 15 minutes. You got my attention. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get into the chat. I'm going to try to expand it up so I can read it a little better. Oh, let's see, what have I got it on here? Let's take it up to, there we go. I can read it now. Okay. And it says, Road King says, take care, Carol. Carol, are you leaving? I'm about ready to close it up yet. China said something about saying John is lying today in his live. Is John on live? Travis needs to stay in his own town. You know something? That's right. You know, when you get somebody like that trying to take over things, I want you to think about too. You got a part-time resident down there that's running this whole show right now. Flip the console. I would be upset if I was in that town and somebody that's a part-time resident had that much influence. I'm just saying, it's my opinion. I wouldn't want that. Let's see. Ed says, a lady on the street asked me for a cigarette or two yesterday. I gave her a couple of cigarettes and didn't talk down to her or demean her or scream at her or to get a job. We had a lovely conversation. My hat's off to you, Ed. You got a good heart. I'm glad you did something like that. Let's see. John did not lie. I confirmed information. That's two Lees talking about the comment up above. Then my bus came and I said, "Have a nice day." That was Ed that said that. Ernie, two Lees in a pod. You are a trusted friend who is not looking to make money from a twisted storyline. I wholeheartedly believe that too. I would not have backed him to the amount that I do verbally if I didn't believe in him. And the reason I do, not only do I believe they have a big heart, they have proved their conversations that they have here on YouTube. They prove it. And someday I'm going to prove that Lisa can sing. Because, Lisa, here's what I did. Now, when you're normally talking and your voice, I know you say it's very low, but in real terms, it's not as low as you think it is. And it has a certain rasp. And I'm not trying to talk down to you or anything, but I've been in different piano bars, where people sing. And a lot of the women have your voice that are singing in there, not from booze or anything. And not from environment. It's a natural thing. That rasp you have is a natural pour of your voice. And Marilyn McCoo has that exact same part in her voice. Okay. And in One Less Bell to Ring, the octaves within that song are the same as yours when you're talking normal and you get a little excited. And I know you'd have to go back and listen to it closely or have somebody do it with you, and they'll see that correlation between them two things. And that's why I said I wanted to see you sing this certain song, and that is this song. And the way you do it is you spend a few days humming the melody, and then you do a couple of days of saying the words, but not singing them. And then as you get into it, you start singing, and you just play with the music, with the wave of it, okay? And the day comes where you'll hit every single note, and it doesn't take long. Within 2 weeks, you can take a song like that and sound just like the singer. And you have that ability, and you have that talent. That all you got to do is try it. It's not a compliment. It is, but I'm not trying to run you down or anything. I hope you try it someday. Travis has too big of a mouth to keep his story straight anyway. I think you're right. He does trip over his tongue a lot, and I think we're going to find that out as time goes by. It's funny how Darwin said Travis needs funds to buy the property. It's funny how people say Travis was a good guy, but I doubt it now with what he's done. And I'm with you, Ed. I really thought he was a good guy, but I don't anymore. I have no qualms about saying I don't. My opinion is he went overboard on this last one. It shows what he's like now. Lisa says that she is not a felon. I understand that. I know you've been accused, and there's all kinds of accusations going on. People don't know you. They're talking through their butts is what they're doing. Lorene says, well, birds of a feather. Travis needs to fly. Yeah. Oh my God, no one can. No, I can't. LOL. We'll find out, I guess. Linda said, I know you're not Lisa. That is a song, isn't it? Lauren says, Lisa, sorry, fat fingers. Oh, heck, Lorene, I thought that. Oh, LOL, booze. Okay. She can go way higher than me. I didn't say that she couldn't. What I said was in that song, you need to go back and listen to it a little bit. And another thing is, she was on a show. It hadn't been too long ago. It's been within the last 5 years, I think, or something like that. And her voice has changed just enough so that the two of you sound identical when you're talking. But go back and look at some of her interviews that she had. Let's see. It starts singing. I got my earplugs. John said that. John Cab. Just challenge you and Lisa. Uh-oh. Hear it, G. Louise. Lisa, you have a great pitch in your voice. That's what I've been trying to tell her. Road King says, I only sing in the shower or in my truck. Nobody wants to hear me. Well, if you can stand yourself in the shower when you're singing, you can't be too bad because you're a captive audience in there, right? And your voice will improve in the shower. Take my word. I like when Lisa sings because the viewer count goes down. Oh, boy. Obviously, Troll's leaving. They say on the cesspool page she needs to stop because she can't sing. I don't stop, and Lisa can sing. I absolutely agree that she does. She can sing. Later, all the safe hugs and loves from Bonnie. Joyner. I love Lisa's voice and love when she and Gabe sing and flirt. Now Kendra can sing. John said that. Two Lisas. I don't have a rap sheet. How can I be a felon? They use that for hurting, don't they? They try to. You know, it's amazing all the things they say. Let's see. I'm not a felon. Kevin says, I'm not a felon either, but sometimes I want to be. Bonita says she loves your voice, Lisa. So there's another one agrees. And Joy says, this gives me an idea. Pam says, I love when Lisa sings. There you go. Now, see, Lisa, I'm not the only one. Two Lees. John, I know you like Kendra. But I'm no Kendra. Cannot sing. See, everybody disagrees with you on this, Lisa. It's funny how many will agree with you on everything else except for the singing. They all say you can sing, and you're the only one that says you can't. And I know you can too. We hear you every once in a while. Let's see. Snivels. In a demented mind, calling someone a felon makes it true even when he surrounds himself with that sort. It makes people believe the worst in everybody. That's just the way life is, and it's hard to walk your way out of that. And the only thing you can do is by example. If the cops aren't knocking at your door, you're probably not a felon. Ed Warrior. Lisa's not the voice singing quality, but she's no William Hung. What's that? Let's see here. Oh, Lisa was trying to get a shut up. It says, but Lisa can sing. Her and Ray need to do a duet. Well, maybe one of these days we will. Maybe we will. We'll just have to practice a little bit and then go on a live and put some music background in someday. I don't know if our voices are compatible or not, but they might be. Let's see. Says here, John says, but Lisa can sing. Her and Ray need to. Oh, okay. We already went over that. Oh, yeah. It says Lisa, a great place to start is karaoke. Lisa's got a background in being around bands. I think she could probably sing quite a few songs by memory. There you go. See, she actually sang a verse, "Love Ain't No Stranger," the other night. Surprised me. She's talking about, and that's the exact words she says there. So, let's see. I'm a drummer, not a singer. I have a grandson that is quite an accomplished drummer. Uh, Plays in different bands, and his father is lead guitar, and was in a lot of different bands. Uh, I have a cousin that made a living off from singing out in Colorado uh, some years ago, a lot of years ago. Paul Mop says, I don't listen to Travis or WTH. I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens to the minions when the truth comes to light and the whole bunch are exposed for what they really are, the KO. I am too. Kevin says, I'm a drummer too. Wow, never knew. That's why she's got the beat. I wonder, you know what? I just wonder if Tori can play. You always hear her beating in the background with that hammer. I don't know if she's just keeping time or what she's doing, but you hear that all the time. You know that she's always doing more than one thing. She never is doing just one thing. Hey, listen to this. Lorene says, Lisa, and you can also drum up the facts. And that is very true. Very true. What would we do? The key people being Lisa and Bruce, Bruce being the legal eagle, has really jumped into this thing and put his neck out there. And I forgot to add it in that he gets picked on as bad, if not worse, than all of us put together. And they've made a race thing out of that with Bruce. And right now, just before I got on here, there was a big argument. I look at it as a big argument between Volpe and one of the naysayers come on there and started making remarks. And right now, they might be setting a record for the number of comments under one name because of the back and forth. And it has to do mainly with race. Let's see. Okay, everybody, it is 12:58. I am going to cut it off at 1 because I promised my wife that if she cooked lunch today, I'd be in there at 1 o'clock. And I've been married a long time, and I want to stay married the rest of my life. So I don't want to miss lunch. You know how that goes, right? If you come in and you have a cold supper, you're in a lot of trouble. Well, the same thing goes for lunch around here. Oh, now the other day I thought my comments were gone, but they're back on there from the last live. So I'm assuming the ones from today probably will happen the same way. They'll be gone for a while, but you come back in 24 hours, they'll be back on there. Cross my fingers. I hope what I'm talking about helps, but the people out there in Otter Creek, if you don't protect each other, who else is going to do it? You can't just get on a phone and call the cops every time, because it's been done so much now that, it's kind of like crying wolf. But when you get into a situation when you're in a convenience store like that, and John and Michelle are there, at least be a witness for them when these other yo-yos come in there and try to start something. Don't let it happen. It's hard to understand it, but John and Michelle have to be very careful what they say or do at this point. That PO has got them hamstrung. I'm telling you, it's not funny. And they're at the point now, they've been charged enough times that the next thing on the agenda is jail time. Not fine, jail time. Don't let them get into that situation. The last time when John went to jail, that's when they decided to come on her property. And in effect, it was a raid. That's what happened. They took that trailer off. That trailer, there was money owed on it to Michelle and John. They got away with it. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It was a bad thing, and it shouldn't happen. Okay. I used the rest of my time up. Everybody out there, thank you for coming on my channel today. And if there's enough things to talk about, we'll do it again very soon. It seems like, at least with the live, I can get more of the word out. I don't know why. Live seems to be pretty popular for some reason. And we'll do the best. Don't forget, I don't know, Lisa, are you going to be on tonight? Let's see if she comes back on here. I don't know if she's going to be live tonight or not. Saturday night. Oh. Anyway, I got to cut it. Everybody out there, thank you so much. 10 p.m. Okay, and that's Eastern Standard, I take it, Lisa. So, see you tonight, Lisa. Thank you so much for coming in here. Thank you for the mods that came on and participating. I didn't get to read a lot of the stuff in the chat here, but when it comes back on, I'll go through the chat and do my thanks. Yeah, Lorraine says ta-ta. Yep, it is. I use that a lot. Thanks to John, I do that. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to end it right where? Here. All right. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm going to do my thing and shut everything down.